we're now joined by Nancy Northup, the president and CEO of the Center for Reproductive Rights, a legal advocacy group that's representing Dr. Alan Braid and his clinics and fighting the Texas law in the courts. Thank you so much for joining us, Nancy.
Thank you.
So Dr. Braid recently wrote in an op-ed something to the effect of it's 1972 all over again. Would you agree?
Well, absolutely. Right now in Texas, if you are any more than 6 weeks pregnant, you can't get access to abortion care. And most people don't know they're pregnant at 6 weeks. So by and large, 85–90% of people in Texas are being turned away at clinics who are constitutionally entitled to have this care. So indeed, Dr. Braid is right in saying he feels like he's back in 1972 before Roe versus Wade.
The Texas law lets anyone sue an abortion provider, and now more than 2 weeks in, we have the first known lawsuits coming from out-of-state disbarred attorneys who don't even claim to be anti-abortion. What does that tell you about the law and how it's constructed?
Well, the really maddening and underhanded thing about this law is it does allow absolutely anybody to sue a provider or a person that even, drives someone to an abortion clinic or loans them money to cover their care. And it can be anybody. The people who sued in these first two lawsuits are from out of state. They don't have any connection to San Antonio, to the doctor, to the patient, to anything. And you know what? There could be limitless numbers of them. There's no limit to how many people can sue a provider for providing an abortion to a woman as here. And so it absolutely shows that this law is designed to harass and to really make it impossible to practice medicine.
These cases and others to come will presumably take a while to work their way through the courts. So in the meantime, do you think that women will remain barred from getting abortion services? And will we see providers actually paying those $10,000 fines?
Well, let's hope not. Let's hope that courts resolve any of these lawsuits like these ones that were just brought quickly. I mean, we're also waiting on the Department of Justice has sued Texas. There'll be an injunction hearing on that on October 1st. But meanwhile, and this is something that, Dr. Braid has made very clear, is that he's been providing health care for almost 50 years to women. And now he has so few options to offer them. And he finds it just heartbreaking that they are having to go out of state, something that many do not have the means to do. Even if the finances are there, they don't have the means to take the time off work, buy childcare for their children. And so really, it's a situation in Texas right now that is falling hardest on women of color, on low-income women, people living, from wage to wage. And so really, it is time for the courts to step in, or for Congress. And in fact, they're going to take a vote on the Women's Health Protection Act in the House this week.
And you say that this Texas law is simply unconstitutional, and we just heard the same from our ABC News contributor, Kate Shaw. But with a conservative U.S. Supreme Court and given the unusual construction of this law, would you say that Roe v. Wade may still be on shaky ground?
Well, unfortunately, the Supreme Court has decided to hear a case out of Mississippi, which we represent the last abortion clinic in the state of Mississippi, and Mississippi has asked for Roe versus Wade to be overturned. So there is heightened concern from this case in Mississippi in the Supreme Court, what's happening in Texas right now. But the reality is the American public wants abortion to be safe and accessible and legal. And 1 in 4 women in the United States makes the decision to end a pregnancy in her lifetime. So the public wants to see this be accessible, and we're going to see what the court does. But, 48 years of really strong precedent says that they need to uphold the law as it is.
Paint us a picture of what your networks are seeing on the ground in Texas. Have women stopped at this moment getting abortion services? If so, what does that look like for them?
Well, so the clinics are open to provide abortions to those people who are under 6 weeks pregnant. So it is important, if you live in Texas, do call your local clinic. But they can only see people at 6 weeks, and otherwise they need to refer people out of state. So women are driving 9 hours to Oklahoma. Some are going as far as New York and Illinois and California. Some are going to New Mexico. And that is really, really difficult. So that is what's happening right now. People are still going to the clinics, or some are just skipping that because they know they're more than 6 weeks, and they know right now they can't get an abortion in the state of Texas.
Lastly, what would you say to critics who say, well, look, if you must get an abortion, then do it before the 6 weeks? Why is that difficult in some cases?
Most people don't know they're pregnant by 6 weeks. And so it is completely unreasonable to suggest that that is a time period in which somebody can have an abortion. And it's also unreasonable in the sense that people do want time to consider their decisions. And right now what's happening, Dr. Bray talks about women coming in who are taking pregnancy tests every day. He had a patient who stockpiled 20 so she could take it every day because she was so afraid that she would become pregnant. She didn't even know if she was, but that she would be 6 weeks too soon. Nobody should be rushed to make medical decisions or important life decisions. And that is what Texas has imposed right now on women in that state.
Nancy Northup, we thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.